Welcome, Nameless Adventure Crowd. My name's Murph, and this is a section that I call Murph's Vault. This is a section that we'll start doing where I talk about something from my collection that I'm passionate about. There's three things I like to collect. One, vintage toys. Not all vintage toys, but just ones that I'm interested in, mainly ones that remind me from my childhood. Two, airsoft guns. I like to collect airsoft guns. I used to skirmish quite a bit, but not so much anymore now. I just like to collect. You can see both of these behind me as well in my vault. Third thing that I like, that I'm passionate about, is role-playing / tabletop gaming. Everything from first edition Dungeons & Dragons to Dust Tactics and all that in between. The old Avalon Hill bookcase, hex encounter games, to AT-43, to even Warhammer 40k. So anyway, those are the three things that I'm interested in, that I'm passionate about, and that I'll be talking about in this segment. The date is August 6th, and this is our first video, so hope you enjoy it. Also, August 6th is also a big date. Don't know if you guys know, but on this date, I think 19 years ago, the first novel of A Song of Ice and Fire by George Martin, titled A Game of Thrones, was released. So, happy birthday, Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire. Tonight I'm going to talk about a piece from my airsoft collection, the Maruzen M11A1 gas blowback submachine gun. This is the full set that was most recently for sale. This model has been for sale for years now. Typically it's just been the gun itself with a small mag. This, they call it the full set because of the accessories it comes with. Before I go into what accessories it comes with, let me give you a little history, at least a brief history about Maruzen. Some of you that are into airsoft guns may have heard of some of the more popular companies nowadays. Of course, Tokyo Marui out of Japan has been popular for a long time. KWA is popular, Western Arms, so on. Maruzen, you can find them, but they're not as common. Maruzen is probably one of the oldest airsoft companies still around. There are a few that were older, but they've gone out of business. But they only make airsoft replica weapons for the Japanese market. They don't make their airsoft guns to be sold outside of Japan. They are, or you can find a dealer that can ship them to you, but they aren't made for, say, the US, Australia, England, whatever. Because of that, Maruzen airsoft guns tend to be lower in the FPS, which is feet per second, than most other guns that you'll find, say, made by KWA. The reason for that is, of course, is the laws in Japan where you cannot have a firearm, no matter the type of propellant, that fires a projectile over 1 joule of energy, which means you will find these airsoft guns, much like Tokyo Marui, they fire at about 285, 280 feet per second. There's variations thereof, but typically that's average. Unlike a lot of the airsoft guns that are being sold out of Hong Kong or in the US today, which are 350 feet per second or even more, up to 400, 425. So, like Tokyo Marui, what Maruzen goes in for, if they can't affect that performance, they go more for accuracy and looks, which that is what I'll focus on with this review. Anyway, this is the full set. Like I said, in years past, this gun was sold just with a small mag. However, this has more accessories that come with it. First off, the first accessory is the gun itself. This is the Maruzen M11A1. This is actually a replica like all the other M11s made out there, whether by KSC, KWA, or so on. This is based off of the 380 M11, not the 9mm version that was made later. That version has a much longer body, has a different shoulder stock as well. This gun has a metal stock that can extend. You pinch the top, fold it back, and it clicks. There's a little button under there, push down, and you can extend the stock. For an airsoft version, you don't really need it. The real gun, you do. But airsoft, you don't. Let's just push that back in, and let's lock that back down. Good to go. Also comes with a metal outer barrel and a metal inner barrel, too. It comes with this little clip thing here to attach the hand strap to. We'll get to more of that in a second. Has a metal bolt, metal trigger, metal safety switch. The rest of the gun is ABS plastic. You have a selector switch here to go from semi-auto to full auto. Safety switch is right here. Flips back from safe to fire. Real simple. Like I said, the rest of the gun is ABS plastic. It does have the Murphs, can't see it, but it has the Murphs information engraved right here. But it also has the Cobra symbol here, which was the first company to actually manufacture these guns. The real steel is still being made today. However, it's made by a variety of manufacturers over the years as the license has been sold off. In addition, what's also kind of neat on this gun, you can see at the handle here to the main frame receiver, you can actually what looks like the weld going around. So they've replicated that, which is kind of neat, you know, from there. So, oh yeah, then it has a metal mag release. So that's the gun itself. Also comes with a long mag for the M11. Now, this mag holds about 48 to 50 rounds. It's metal. Has a port here for filling up with gas, charging the magazine. Also has a button here as a release valve to release any extra gas you might have inside the magazine. Let me back up a step. For those that do not know, a gas blowback gun is a gun that runs off of a gas propellant. It can be anything from propane mixed with silicone oil to a type of gas called green gas, which is almost identical to propane. To duster gas, to refrigerant gas. They all have different pressures and so on. You fill it up just like a butane lighter. And then the gas is inside the magazine. You fill up your BBs here, and with each shot, gas is released that acts as propellant for the BB. And the blowback function is actually the bolt of the gun itself goes back with each shot and reloads the next round. So that's the blowback. Typically they have a small kick to them. Some have a kick more harder than others. Give it a little sense of realism. So this magazine, while it's a good magazine, there are two flaws that I see with this. One, once again, these guns are not made to be sold outside of the Japanese market, so you aren't going to find a third party making these magazines for the Murphs guns. Hence, these magazines tend to be a little pricey. Also, the drawback with these long mags that the short mags don't have is the long mag is actually two short mags connected together. What that does is it creates a weak point right here in the magazine that if you drop it or abuse it, it could break. I have had other magazines break. Once it's broken, the metal's broken, you're done. There might be a way to fix them, repair them, but I don't know of one. So that's an easy way to throw some money down the drain. Other than that, these mags, they're metal, they're heavy, they add some heft to the gun, they do their purpose. Another accessory it comes with is the hand strap. That straps onto the gun for you to hold it down. The real steel will tend to jump if it's on full auto. This is a hand strap that you can do to hold down the end of the gun. I'll show you what that looks like once it's all put together. Comes with this little fake silencer to put on the end. Just looks cool. Doesn't silence at all, but like I said, looks cool. Of course, like all airsoft guns, it comes with its sample BB pack. Typically these are pretty crappy BBs that they include in airsoft guns as a sample. I've never fired the Murphs ones. They may be better. I know Murphs does make good BBs, but like I never use these, so I just toss it, put it back in the box. And then all Murphs guns come with this little straw. It's like the type of straw you would put on like a can of WD-40 to spray. I don't know if it's to attach to silicone oil to keep your gun lubed. If it's used as a unjamming tool, if you get a BB jammed in there, I don't know. But it comes with a little straw. So anyway, so what does this look like when all the accessories are put together? Well, let's first put on the hand strap. You have this clip on the front here, this clips on, so on. There you go. Use that to hold it down if you want. Then you have the silencer, screws right on. Well, sort of right on. Takes a couple turns. There we go. All right. Last but not least, you have the magazine. Take that, insert it in, and there is your M11. Now, how does this thing fire? What is it like? Well, first, let's charge it up. Since this is made to be fired in Japan, where the feet per second is much lower than the US, if you use propane gas, you're going to end up breaking the internals, typically the loading nozzle, inside these Maruzen guns. They're not made to use gas that high power, let alone CO2. We won't even go there. But propane is a little too powerful for these guns. Instead, here in the US, a cheap alternative is duster gas. Now, duster gas is the same power as you'll have with other gases they make in Japan that are sold much higher price and that are very difficult to get here in the US. The problem with duster gas is, though, there's no silicone oil inside of it. Most gas that's sold to be used for airsoft guns have silicone oil inside. And what that does is it lubes the parts as it fires, releases the gas and fires the BBs. Very important for M11. I don't care what brand it is. KSC, KW, Maruzen, whatever. These guns need to be lubed. If you don't spray them with silicone oil and keep them properly lubed, they will stop working or they will give you problems. So, what I've done is just gotten regular duster gas from Walmart. There's a company called Airsoft Innovations, and they have, it's like a silicone oil injector or whatever you call it, that actually silicone oil pump, that you fill up and it will pump the silicone oil into the can itself, whether it's duster gas or a propane canister, whatever. So you don't have to worry about adding silicone oil to the base of your magazine where the port is when you fill it up, like a few drops every couple of refills. They also come with this little red nozzle that fits on the duster gas canister. That is the right size for you to fill up and charge your magazine. So, what you do is it's just like a butane lighter. You line it up here on the fill-up port and fill it for a few seconds. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, that's enough. We don't need much for our test. Okay, and of course you would then load up your BBs in here too. I'm not going to be firing, I'll just dry fire. Put the magazine in, don't slam it, just put it in gently. Now, like the real steel, this fires from what's called an open bolt position. The bolt's inside the top of the receiver. You rack the bolt back, it stays open. You notice the bolt here, that's called the open bolt. That's how the real steel fire. Now, the disadvantage of that is with an open bolt, you can get dust and dirt in there. So, that's just something to remember as well. But, on semi-auto, let's see how this is. Watch the bolt on top. Pretty cool, a little bit of a kick, you know. Let's put it on full auto, see what it's like. There you go. Pretty cool. And then, of course, if you have extra gas inside your magazine, you got the release valve there, you just push it in. Wow. Anyway, well, that's the M11. What do I think of this gun? These guns have never given me a problem, but I've also never skirmished with them too. These are the guns that I buy just for collecting purposes only. They look good, they've always performed well, but when it comes to skirmishing with them, they would be good for an indoor close quarters battle, but I don't know if they could take the abuse that some other guns can. If they can, another problem is getting replacement parts for them. Unlike Tokyo Marui or KSC, KWA, so on, who have a slew of aftermarket parts, whether made by them or third parties, Maruzen doesn't really have many, if any at all, aftermarket parts. I've seen some enhanced loading nozzles that are a little stronger than the standard one that comes inside, and that's about it. So when it comes to aftermarket parts, if something breaks, you're kind of SOL. So that's another risk I don't like to take. But if you're looking for something that's realistic, nice looking, you don't really see very often, this is a nice gun to add to your collection. So anyway, I hope you've liked my review of the Maruzen M11A1 full set. Join me in another 2 weeks while I'll be reviewing another toy from the vault. Hope you've enjoyed this. Now I return you back to your podcast. Later.